Okay, hi everyone. Right, we're going to have a little talk about writing a balanced argument. So you have a argument that you've been presented. UK schools should remain open during the coronavirus pandemic, but I'm not sure if you completely remember how we go about writing a balanced argument. So the main thing we have to remember is, in a balanced argument, it doesn't matter whether you agree or disagree with what's been said. You have to show a balance. You have to show both sides of the argument completely fairly. So with your balanced argument, what you are going to need is an introduction. You are going to have to show both sides of the argument. So you're going to have to show, if you remember, we call it the for and the against. And you're going to have evidence to back those things up. So that might take a little bit more thinking or perhaps some research. And then you're going to have a conclusion. Those are the main elements that you really have to make it work. So the first thing you're doing when you're planning your balanced argument is thinking about your for and your against. And you can think about it in terms of what comes into your head. You might sort of do a quick safe Google search. So I might say, well, what are the arguments for schools remaining open? And I could say, well, the children's education won't get interrupted. So one of my arguments, and I'm only going to write it in note form, if you see here, your education doesn't get interrupted. You may have bad effects of missing out school, possibly. For might be, another argument might be social. It's quite difficult to be at home and not be seeing your friends and not interacting with people, which means doing things with people. Another argument for would be to help for parents. It might be difficult for parents to have to stay at home and not work or try to teach their children at home. And finally, you might have an argument sort of like for your mental health, that it might be hard for children to miss out on their schooling. So I don't need to go to those in detail when I'm planning. I can just think. And then I can think, okay, what about the arguments against? Well, the main argument bit would be, excuse me, is fits health. So in the middle of a pandemic, if it's not safe to go to school, then going to school might put people in danger. Another argument would be to help the NHS. It's kind of linked to health. So we're saying we don't want too many people catching it, because perhaps it's being spread more because people are going to school. It might be spread more because people are having to travel to school. So you have to give yourself, now because you want balance, however many ones you have for, whether it's 1 or 2 or 3, you should have the same against, and then you have a pretty good plan for your balanced argument. So that might take just around 5 minutes to think of those things, and then in the next video I'm just going to demonstrate how we would write it and the kind of words that we would use. Good luck.